I highly recommend that before watching this video, before spoiling yourself on the scene that I'm about to talk about, I highly recommend you go read the Tokyo Ghoul manga. I feel like to fully experience everything that I'm about to talk about, you really should read it unspoiled. And then come back. You don't have to even read. Just come back when you finish part 1. So the experience of Tokyo Ghoul is a lot like Attack on Titan. If you get spoiled, it's a way worse experience than if you don't get spoiled. It's my favorite chapter of both Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re. And that chapter is chapter 123. And the chapter opens up with Takizawa at home. He goes home to see his family. It's lighthearted. He also doesn't tell them like about the operation. He's just like, I'm just visiting home. You know, I just wanted to come home for a little while. I know I don't usually. I just wanted to come home for a little while. And the mood of the chapter is kind of like melancholy but still lighthearted because they're reassuring Takizawa that, hey, it's gonna be fine. You just have to fill this out. It's just treated like another form. And then it cuts to other investigators talking about filling out the testament, and they're just like, it's like they're taking it seriously, but they're not. They give one to Hide, and he makes a joke out of it. They give it to him, and he looks at the will, and he's like, sir, unalive is not the answer. He's like, idiot, it's yours. And he's like, I'm unalive. Self? Reading this chapter, especially with them making it lighthearted, you're like, well, this is a will and it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal, you know? And also they're characters on a page, so it's hard to be like, I'm here, like I'm in their shoes. So they talk about the operation, and it cuts back to Takizawa. He's still at home, you know, he's vibing. His little sister comes home and he sees her briefly, but she's like, I'm going out with friends. Leave me alone, mom. Stop cramping my style. The mood starts to shift because there's no more jokes. There's no more making light of the situation. What happens next is that his mom's like, that girl. And then Takizawa goes to his room and there's this broadcast talking about the one-eyed owl. Actually, I think it's just his thoughts and I'm insane. He's thinking about the one-eyed owl. He's thinking about the operation kind of on a deeper level than we've seen any of the investigators in the chapter so far think of it. He's thinking of all of the capabilities of the one-eyed owl. Like 6 to 8 Kakuho, it has combat abilities surpassing even special investigators. When a ghoul detention center was attacked by the one-eyed owl, every single special investigator on the team was taken out of combat. If they didn't die, then they were forcibly retired. Takizawa has his head down, he's like thinking about this, he's like stressing over it, and then it cuts to this double page spread, and he's written the will, he's written his will, he's written over it in what's clearly scared and terrified handwriting. He's written, I don't want to die. Like you're reading this and you're turning the page and then you just see this double page spread. I don't want to die. And I remember, because to this day, and I read it years ago, to this day, I remember how it made me feel. The first time I turned the page, I didn't turn the page, I read it online. Looking at it on mobile, the Shonen Jump mobile app is a crime and it needs to be eradicated immediately. Anyway, looking it up on mobile, it doesn't have the same effect because it's just a single page. The double page spreads are ruined on this mobile app, honestly. I think we should boycott it, in my personal opinion. But I remember the first time I saw it. You can see the neat handwriting of when he wrote the will, and then this shaky, blotchy, inky handwriting. Like he was so terrified, he wrote, I don't want to die, over his words on the will. But he doesn't have a choice. He's a CCG investigator. It's like being in the army and being drafted. No matter how scared you are, no matter how much you don't want to do it, at that point, you don't have a choice. You can just feel Takizawa's helplessness. You realize that he went home because he legitimately thinks that that'll be the last time he sees his family again. The last time he sees his childhood home. Like in that moment, when you see the double page spread, it like hits you. Takizawa's mental state at that point hits you. He's not fine. This is not fine. It makes you realize like how young he is. He's not middle-aged like a lot of the other investigators. He hasn't been through these intense battles to have built up the mental fortitude that people like Arima have. This is his first major operation, and after thinking repeatedly about the owl and its capabilities, he thinks he's going to unalive. And then you turn the page again, and it's just Takizawa with his face blacked out. And then the bottom panel is him in tears. It's tragic. This chapter, this double page spread, it made me feel the most emotion I ever felt in Tokyo Ghoul, as weird as it to say. I read all of Re. It never quite made me feel as tapped into a character's mental state as Takizawa in this chapter. which is why it's my favorite chapter. Maybe it was because of the bait and switch of the chapter. Everyone else in the chapter, they're like, we're gonna be there for each other, so it's fine. They're talking to Takizawa like, hey, chin up, big guy. It'll be alright. Like, you're not gonna actually see any combat. You know, it's fine. And then, I don't want to die. I remember when I turned the page, I had just never seen anything like it before. In anything that I watched or read. I read it the first time before COVID, so that tells you. I think I was still in high school. I don't want to think about it. Anyway, the way it made me feel has stayed with me to this day. Which, and I sigh because, unfortunately, I think I'm obligated to talk about how Route A handled it. For all my defending of Route A, this is pretty inexcusable. It's like half on the animation and half on Crunchyroll for being so lazy. Because in the manga, it's not in Japanese. It's not like Japanese with like subtitles on the top of the manga being like, this is what this means. No. In the manga, I feel like they went above and beyond because it's not just the kanji or hiragana. It's, I don't want to die in big English letters. And the time and effort was made to stylize it the way it is in Japanese. And guess what the anime does? What they do is you see the page and then subtitles on top. I don't want to die. Yeah, great. You see the page and it's like, wow, I wish I could read this. First of all, you have to take your eyes away from the page and away from the pen strokes and the panicked look to see these regular words. Like, it's not like the words are like in a different font, in a panicked font. You see the words in Times New Roman, type 12. I think if Crunchyroll wanted to change it, they have the sway to be like, hey, maybe we can make this more like the manga. But they were just like, nah, just put some Arial 12 on the top. I don't want to die. That's what it says. Like, guys, like, you can't tell me Crunchyroll couldn't have done it. Viz Media went the extra mile to do it. I know they usually change the words to English, but it's like they didn't have to. Crunchyroll is just like, just, you know, just type out some Times New Roman translators. So it's half that. It's half because the impact of the scene is killed, but also because for some reason the anime decides to lead with Takizawa's reaction. It like teases the letter for some reason. It shows his window, it shows like a pen on its side and maybe a corner of a brushstroke. And then it shows his face as he's panicking. And then it has a wide shot of the full letter where it has the brushstrokes in Japanese on it. And in my opinion, that's a much worse way to portray this scene. What made that scene so powerful in the manga was the contrast between him trying to put up a brave face for his family, and then you turn the page. I don't want to die. For some reason, the Route A animators are like teasing the whale the way it is, and I'll show you. It's like they're trying to make it a surprise reveal, and I don't know why. The music and the episode itself have a much more somber tone in the anime. Like, they play it completely straight. I don't think Hide says his jokes in the anime. I think the I don't want to die scene in season 2 in Route A was so unmemorable because I read the manga after, and yet I was so shocked. So there's definitely something there about the tone in the anime being incorrect. In case you were wondering, yes, this is my secret, sneaky, super sneaky way of making you go watch, read the manga. I'd love to hear what your favorite scene is in tokyoghoul. Anime, manga, it doesn't matter as long as you don't mention Ri. If you mention Ri, your comment section should just be filled with thumbs down. Like the emoji. Just a constant row of thumbs down. Now that I've explained my favorite scene and also what Route A does wrong with it, I'm gonna get out of here. Please like, comment, subscribe maybe, and also I hope you have a good rest of your day, weekend, night, morning, afternoon, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Goodbye.